Hello, my name's Jason Lowry.
My name's Mark Tody, and this is Kyle Richardson.
And this is the Parkland Podcast.
It's the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. It's the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. They got plenty to say. They got plenty of heart. On the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. It's the Parkland Podcast. Yeah, the Parkland Podcast. It's the Parkland Podcast. Yeah, the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. Jason and Mark.
Welcome to episode 71 of the Parkland Podcast. And what? Who?
No, I was just watching the red.
You were just
talking.
the red thing's not on, but that's okay because the internet says we're going.
And that's the case. I'm
that
happy.
Looks like us. Okay. Anyways, that's Mark Tody. We have Kyle Richardson here with us, a 1991 graduate of Farmington High School.
When you say
I know, right? Yeah, but Farmington graduate and very exciting NFL career, and we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about your dad. A lot of people played football for him over the years, and Farmington legend. I see his name every day when I walk on the field named after him, and we're real excited to have you on the podcast this
Thank
morning.
you. It's good to be in the barn here. What a place you have. I'm looking for some kind of memorabilia of my own, but I don't see anything. You don't have any space on the wall here.
Man.
Hey, I still remember.
Maybe I can hook you guys up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember your trip to St. Louis, and it's like you were such a good punter, but you were overshadowed by this guy that played his first game for the Rams that day. A guy named Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
Threw like
I
four
remember that
touchdown
game.
passes in that game.
That was the greatest show on turf, right? And that was
Yes.
his coming out party.
It was.
And he had some really good receivers, by the way.
Yeah, a guy named
And
Bruce.
They
and
just
Holt.
and we had a decent defense that year because
Yeah.
it was the next year we won the Super Bowl, and so it was not chopped liver going out there. We thought, we had you guys on as a W on that year, and that turned out to be a stunning loss for us. We were on the bus like, what was that?
Well, Kyle, no matter how you put it, it's been a heck of a story for you coming out of Farmington High School. You were a receiver and a punter for Farmington.
D-back, played everything I could. I came off the field just a couple times whenever I guess they returned whenever there was a return on a play. That's when I wasn't on the football field.
And then you went to Arkansas. Tell us about your college career.
Yeah, so right there, you guys are going to take me back because this is 30-some years ago now at this point, I guess. But here we go. So I was thinking that I was going to go play at Mac. So Coach Gray at the time, if I have that right, he said, "Hey, I'll give you a partial scholarship. Why not do that? Play junior college basketball." That was one of my ideas I was going to do, and then it occurred to me that I could barely dunk, had a decent shot, had some upside, but not much. And at that point, around as the senior year was coming to an end, Kyle Reed, who was the offensive coordinator, became the head coach at Farmington, said, "Hey, there's a school down in Arkansas, in Jonesboro, Arkansas State, that's looking for a walk-on." And it stuck with me for the next, probably 3 or 4 weeks. And I literally remember waking up in the middle of the night and went down and told Mom and Dad, "Yeah, I'm going to go walk on. That's what I want to do. I'm going to go walk on as a punter." And, at that point, I really had only done it that senior year. I did the place kicking. I was a hack place kicker, at best. I had one good field goal that beat your North County Raiders, as we talked about before we came on here. But, in general, I had really not done much of that punting. So as it works out, you kind of fast forward and you get into that first year down in Jonesboro, and I was walking on, made this decision. There was 9 other guys trying to establish themselves as punters, just punters. They were looking for anybody and everybody. I remember when I first walked on down there. And, I'd look up, a couple months into it. I'm like, I have really good hands. I really don't know. I hadn't put a lot of time into actually the perfection of what this skill was going to be. And that upside led to a year later Dad and I going through the high school, coming in the off season, during the summer, working my butt off to make a few bucks with the school districts, so I can have some money during the next year at college. But that summer and going back into the next year, which would have been the redshirt freshman year, I was that year of experience and working a lot with my dad, give a lot of tribute to him, just working that skill. I showed up then, and at that point, there was probably half the 9 guys were still on the team, thinking they were going to be a punter. And so I basically was in the right position, right time to step in there. And, right when we left, Dad started doing mental games, right, and saying, hey, okay, practice, not just practice. Let's practice with a thought in mind. And I would act like I was running off the field as if I was already playing a game. And we'd do situational. So that right before I left, going into that redshirt year, not knowing if I'm going to be able to make the starting punter and whatever was going to happen thereon, but that was my goal. And so I show up. The finish the story there is that right at the end of that summer practicing, Dad said, "Why don't we do a lot of this mental games that put you in the game?" So the first game of the year was against Oklahoma in Norman.
Wow.
And so you start putting your mind in that space in that game. And we'd always practice at the end of that time here in Farmington at the field that, all right, you're backed up, and here you are, you got, opening drive of the game, and the craziest thing happened, which was, a month and a half later, go through training camp. We had a coaching change, a guy named Ray Perkins, who used to coach in the NFL. He liked me. He put me on, he said, "You're my guy." He put me on scholarship. And that first game out in Oklahoma, first drive, we get the ball, Arkansas State, and we go out there, 3 and out. I'm backed up, and it was the same routine. It was that whole, as if I had practiced like in Farmington, Missouri on the field, it happened just the same. I was backed up. Now, I'm not going to say I had the greatest game ever, but I was aware of the situation. I could handle the situation, and that was the genius of practicing in that way.
When did you get the idea that, okay, I can do it collegiately, but I may have a future of this professionally?
Yeah, it's interesting, Mark. Knowing you and I ran into each other this week on my dad's birthday.
Yes,
That's part of the reason I'm here. Yeah, on Thursday we saw each other downtown. And so I started thinking, well, yeah, I'd love to come on and talk with you guys. But it started making me think about that journey. And in my junior year in college at Jonesboro, we were playing at La Tech, Louisiana Tech.
Okay.
And it was just halfway through the season. That would have been my third year at school, but my redshirt sophomore year. And, I can think of it as like I was walking in after that game. I had a really good game. We were playing in Louisiana. I had 10 punts and almost averaged 50 yards. Mm-hmm. So the thought was, in my own mind, is like, well, that was a really good game. But, the end of the story is I walk into the locker room that next morning, and they said, "Hey, congratulations, the PR group at our school. You've just won the AT&T long distance, punter of the week."
Wow.
Nationally.
Wow.
So a week later, a little plaque came,
Huh.
and it said AT&T long distance punter for the week across all college sports. And it struck with me. I was like, at that point, I was like, well, maybe there's an upside down the road here, because I knew I'd just gotten started with it. But it was the first time, Mark, that I had actually been the best at something nationally. That's the way I thought of it. Mm-hmm. And so now it wasn't straight lines to the NFL by any means, right? But that was how it occurred to me. I was like, I'll store that away. And that was the first time I thought I was the best at something, at least once in the country.
Most people play college football. They get drafted. They go to their team, and they either make it or they don't get drafted, and they sign on as a free agent. You took a little different route to the NFL, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, you don't get drafted back then. They really didn't have any positions they were drafting. Maybe a kicker every once in a while. Definitely not a punter. So right when I ended that college career, I had played 4 years in a row at that point with Arkansas State, broke a ton of records. Our offense was bad, so I had a lot of option,
A lot of
a
opportunity.
lot of opportunity. And so, I knew I had that upside and worked through a lot of different up and downs with like, okay, is this what I'm going to do? Am I going to try to go on and try to make it break somewhere into the NFL? And I found a guy that was a kicking coach at the time that was working with guys that were like me. They were saying, hey, am I good enough? I don't know if I'm good enough. And he was the kicking coordinator for the World League. And if you remember back in through the late 1990s, the league itself folded in about 2002. But it was fully funded by the NFL. They were losing about 30, 40 million a year, so that's why they folded. But they had 6 teams, right? And those 6 teams were in various markets throughout Europe. But for me, my play was, can I go down there and work with this coach where he was in Virginia and just elevate my game to another level, but also have an opportunity and try to figure out my way into the NFL. And Arena League was there, but there's no punting in an Arena League.
Right.
So I needed a league. I needed something. So that was my first thought. Like I could go get stats, put myself into a semi-pro or even more than that. It was a legit football. It was guys that were playing on Sunday. They were backup guys, essentially is what it was. There was no starters going to Europe. But it was a way for me to get through there. And here's the quick little sidebar. When I went over to Virginia, it was a little town called Abingdon, Virginia. This coach's name was Doug Blevins. Nobody,
Okay.
it's a name that some people might remember in this journey of mine. But he was just out there, and he created a kicking culture that guys were like me. When I actually got there, they said, hey, there's a room in the A-frame house, and you can go rent that room. And I had 6 months. Borrowed $10,000 from mom and dad. I don't know, Mark, if you heard this story.
No, go ahead. This is great.
I needed to fund myself,
Yeah.
And so right out of college, I was like, this is what I wanted to do. I did work for 2 months. I said, that's not what I'm going to be doing. I was the circulation manager at the Baltimore Sun.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, he was the owner was a booster. So he said, hey, I can give you a job. And there was 5 of the positions I did, so I was not the only guy. But, I was delivering papers one night when somebody called out sick, and I was like, yeah, this is not what I want to do.
Right. Yeah.
And so I said, I called up this coach. I said, all right, I'll pay you $10,000. I'm coming out, and I'll start doing that next month. And literally went out there, and when they said there's a room in the A-frame house, I said, okay. Who was that? And they said, well, he just left last week. His name's Adam Vinatieri.
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
There
wow.
you go.
Wow.
So in a roundabout way, you just do things because there's a gut feeling, right?
Right.
And you just think, okay, I got an upside. You have to look at yourself. You have to really be honest with yourself. Can I do that? Can I go there? And I found a way. And at every turn, I kept thinking, what's preventing me from doing this? And it was, just probably a skill that I hadn't developed enough, or I just didn't have enough opportunity. But I knew I had good hands. I knew I had mental ability to kind of repeat a motion. And there was a lot of those things just natural. Maybe it was, dad drilling in the back of my head, play after play, as a kid or watching or whatever. I just knew that I could handle certain situations. And when I got into the pros, I had a coach that told me once when I got to Baltimore, his name is Scott O'Brien. He turned out to be one of the best coaches for special teams in history. And he told me, he's like, Kyle, I'll clean it up for this show. But he said, you can screw up once, don't screw up twice. Right? That was the introduction to the NFL. And after I got through that first few games in my first year in Baltimore, I realized that I could do something really good. But whenever it didn't go good, I could go back and get my head right and make that next one. So what Scotty O'Brien was teaching me was, hey, you're going to have a shank punt here and there. Or you're going to miss something, or it's not going to go like we want. That's not the pro level. But can you come back? Can you come back from that negative? I've always been able to do that.
Wow.
And I think that
Put
was
it
the
out
key.
of your mind, huh?
Yeah.
Put it out of your mind.
Have that short memory. I know.
It's a short memory.
Yeah.
That's right.
So let's talk about now the Super Bowl run. An amazing team, as you mentioned. The defense really, really good. and you were a huge part of that. I looked up that you share a Super Bowl record.
Yes.
Still today? Is that
Still
still?
today.
I'm not
It's still
surprised,
there.
but you guys, you want to explain what that record is?
It's the most combined punts
Yeah.
in a Super Bowl game.
Yes, that's right. I
So-
had 10 punts, and he had 11. I'm trying to remember his name. Oh, my gosh.
I just had it.
Well, and you also
Chris does not know or get excited.
pinned them back inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah,
with
4
some-
times.
There are people
Right,
from
yeah.
Farmington who swear to this day that you should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Well, there was a thought that somebody came up, our PR guy afterwards, Kevin Byrne. He said, Kyle, you have a podium because people want to talk to you. And do you know what a podium means?
Yeah.
So basically at that level, typical after a game, you only have one podium. But when you when there's a Super Bowl, there's
Right,
actually
there's about
10
20.
podiums.
Is there 10?
I
Okay.
remember 10. And so I'm like, why? And they're like, well, people want to talk to you and ask you about how you were able to perform. So I was like, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I had a moment there. But afterwards, I've heard that, Mark.
Yes.
And by the way, I mean, there was look, they have to give it to somebody. It's going to be
Somebody
different than a
that's
punter.
going to Disney World.
But yeah, somebody's going to Disney World, and it probably wasn't going to be Ray at the time. Ray's image was not the greatest,
Right, yeah.
and for the right reasons. But that team. Let's go back to that. I mean, it was a special time for where I was watching just the organization in itself. It was coming from Cleveland, had this black cloud over it. When we first got there, we barely had a logo. You'd go to any kind of store. Walmart never sold. They didn't sell anything that was merchandise-wise because they weren't really bought into the team. This is hard to think about even back in that day. But after we won the Super Bowl, we lit up that town. It was a great turnaround for that town itself. But the team in itself and watching that journey where I was in 98 coming into it and seeing the pieces come together. And when Brian Billick became the coach, he really institutionalized. I mean, that laptop right there, that wasn't thought of. It was overhead projectors. Remember the magic markers, and you draw plays, X's and O's, and then you would wipe it away and say, okay, Mark, that's a bad play. We're going to do this play now. And, in the coaching room. And so he instituted a lot of laptop stuff and started looking at plays and videos and watching things in real time. And that was really like because he was coming out of tech world. He was a guy that really understood a lot of technology. Brian Billick did. But as a PR guy himself, he was not even a coach. Brian, he was the PR guy for the in the ranks of PR for the 49ers, and then became but he had played. He legitimately was a player. Had a cup of tea in the NFL, but then he got into coaching, and then his journey went over to Minnesota and really developed a great offensive mind, which ironically came to Baltimore, and he had no offensive mind because he didn't have much talent to work with. I'll say that too. But we found our way where we actually, were able to be very manageable on offense. But these guys over here on that defense, they were unbelievable. I mean, 160 yards total is what these guys would be shutting guys down on, like in a game. I mean, it's unheard of, passing and running. I mean, it was just watching it as if there's the real guys out there playing, and then there's a junior high, but those junior high players were pros themselves. It was just so much talent on that defensive side. It came together in the right places. The key guys. Had various. You had, of course, Ray Lewis in the middle, but you had the big guys up front, the Tony Saragusa, Sam Adams, that were all pro, potential every year in their own right. But you had Rod Woodson, that was a Hall of Famer. And, so it was an interesting mix of guys that found their way. And that's what you always find in the NFL is you have talent, but every year you don't know how that talent's going to perform on the field. And especially like when it's, more games are lost than actually won. And you watch every year this, just go out there and you'll see there's an NFL team that's decided to lose the game rather than win the game.
Right.
And so for ourselves, we found our way to constantly win games, and then we built a lot of confidence, and then we got into a place where we ran off 11 wins in a row.
You mentioned Tony Saragusa. Was he the biggest character on that team, or was there somebody
He was
else?
our Art Donovan. I mean, he was, if you guys remember back in the day, Artie Donovan. And I became close friends, and unfortunately, Tony passed. and we all are still sad about that. This is our 25th anniversary in
Really?
December
Wow.
of our Super Bowl. So what you're talking about is 25 years ago. So we're all starting to reconnect, and I just saw a few guys recently, and we're all sad about those guys that have passed, and there's others too, but Tony was key, and he was was the linchpin when there's like, hey, let's get together. He would call me because Tony and I were really close. I would go on the road games. He would take me with him at that time. It wasn't like an overnight thing. It was like, I don't like punters and kickers. And then eventually he was like, hey, what are you doing on an away game? And so then we'd go and grab dinners and various stuff, on the road. But just being around that personality, and he was a lot off the field. That was the calming, but yet the joker, and the guy that is like, at the end of the day, he led. And most people might think it was a Ray Lewis. We all in the locker room, we know Ray, he's performing now on the field, and you better perform to his level. But behind the scenes, you need guys like Tony Saragusa that keep that locker room together.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hang around in Baltimore long enough to see the beginning of the Joe Flacco era?
No, actually, the year Joe came in 2008, so I would have been long gone. But we did play with him, against him. Well, that's not technically. I was out of the league at that time, so no, I was not. I didn't play against Joe. I think it was 2008 when he came in. But I have gotten to know Joe. He's in and out of Baltimore at times, but when I moved back to Baltimore, we would run cross paths, and I was still doing at that time. I was doing a radio show.
All right.
It's called Purple Passion on Fridays.
Yeah.
Nice.
Local guy named Keith Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
Keith, not Mitchell. That's my old coach, Keith Mills. And so Keith and I, we would always go out to the castle, and so we'd interview guys. So for a period of time, right through there, I was very much involved in getting guys and seeing what who was on the team, what was happening.
Post-NFL career has been very successful. You're back in town to see your parents at your dad's 85th birthday. Your dad, as big of a legend as you've become in Farmington, as Jason kind of said earlier on, he may be a bigger legend.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's all good. I mean, I'm just a guy that made it to the NFL in a roundabout way, but the servicing of young men here, I think that's the legacy, right?
Yeah.
So it makes me emotional just thinking about it. But I mean, you have somebody that dedicates their life to that, and the journey, and you see those guys that he coached. They still think of him as coach. And people that influence. So we're going on that journey right now. Dad is 85. That's what we were back here for, and myself, my two brothers, Clark and Alex. So we celebrated that. He does have dementia, and we're on that path, and we're trying to surround Mom, the caregiver, and you can't forget about that. I mean, that right now is the biggest thing that we're trying to do. I'm in care coordination. After football, I've had a longer career outside of football, and I'm in healthcare. And this journey is not easy, right? It's watching your parents age, Mark.
Yep.
You know this.
Yes.
And Jason, maybe you do too. I mean,
Starting to
we're
get there,
all-
yeah.
It looks like we're about that same age group, right?
Right.
You're looking up.
Thank you.
No, you're still looking up. You look up and you see your parents or these elderly people that you really care about, and then you look down and you say, wow, you young people, you better start taking care of yourself and start thinking more. And then we're thinking of it ourselves, right? So I'm literally in this space. That's what I do day to day. We have a bank of nurses doing care calls, so around the country. Got into that roundabout way. Baltimore, that region is known for its medical. And so guys asked me to invest into this company. But in that last 15 years I've been doing this, I never really had to stop and think about my own family care. And so I am, and it's a challenge, and we're looking at resources and things. For the NFL alumni, I have a side thing that I do within that organization that is a lot to do about caregiving and thinking about, how are we all going to age? If you look at the stats of a former football player, we effectively have aged ourselves, and we signed up for this. Nobody says, no, where's this going? There's guys that are feeling like the game caused damage to them, but we also have a reality, which is we raised our hand. We said we want to play that pro game, especially. But we have aged ourselves on average additional 10 years. So, in theory, your bones and your body and joints and your mind. And most guys that are former players right now are like my dad, worried about their mind, that are my age. Ray Lewis, worried about his mind. If you go hug him today, you try to get your arm around it because he is still a beast, and he still has physical muscle, and he's working out like a beast. But he says privately, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we doing to stave off that dementia? Because statistics show it's not going to work out for most of us. And, now Dad's journey is a lot to do with a heart attack that he had at 65. Right. You guys probably remember that.
Yes, I do.
And the neurologist said, look, that's what caused a lot of this, right? And but from all of our perspectives, we've got to start thinking. Us today, and you right now, you're here. I don't know you yet.
That's Chris Crocker. He's going to be on here in a few minutes.
He's our MoDot guy.
You're younger than us, so we're looking down.
Yeah.
Chris, we've got to start thinking about what we're doing every day, and what we're eating, what we're thinking, what we're doing to take care of ourselves. We have an aging population right now that, if you see in 2040 what the stats are, we're going to have 85%. There's 85 plus year of age. It's going to grow. As of today, it'll grow by 25%, our population, because people are living longer. So 85 and older. And if you look at the numbers of what that cost, on average, it's $125,000 for end of life. So if you have an older population, what are we doing as a country, right? Now I'm getting philosophy. But we've got to start thinking for ourselves, and everybody in Farmington has to think like that. What you take in your body, what you're drinking, what you're doing every day. Are you working out? Are you walking 10,000 steps? That's a lofty goal, but start thinking about that. Start doing something about changing your life, because how are you going to age? How are you thinking about what you're going to do when it becomes your time and you're 85, and maybe you want to be more proactive? So that's my message, Jason, Mark.
Wow. That's a good message, actually. In fact, let's see here. I have already, because I went.
You got steps?
I've got steps in today already. Let's see.
Oh man,
there you go. Hey, nothing wrong with that. See, I track. I got the
9,053 so far.
Where you been walking, man? That's good. You walk to work today? That's great.
He is a walker. I beat him though on Friday nights, getting up and down the stairs at the press box.
True.
See, that's where I get him.
Yes.
Go for the stairs.
Yeah.
I do have to ask. Well, I have to ask one quick question.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Because I've wondered about this, because I heard this story 30 years ago about your dad.
Okay.
When he was a young man. I know he had a couple NFL tryouts too. But
yes.
But my question is, I'd always heard a story that he would run from Farmington to the county line and back a couple of times. Is that just an urban legend about your dad, or
it's like
is there
Paul
some
Bunyan.
Just during his coaching days or after?
Yes, this is when he was a young man.
Young man. He ran out on Highway 67 a lot.
Yes.
And I, as a young kid, would ride my bike behind him. So there is some truth. Now, how far he went, I cannot remember. But the urban legend might be he went to the county line and back.
We'll
so
go with
that.
Yeah,
we'll go with that.
Okay.
He walked to Fredericktown and St. Vincent and Valley and wherever they were playing.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes.
One final question for you. Have you followed Farmington night football?
I was listening to him last night on the radio.
Yes.
I'm into this. Man, they had a chance right at the end to close it out. But wow, I'm impressed, and I'm really proud of those guys. And the new coach that's come in, he's found a way to cultivate and get to the number of wins and losses that is. Is he 6-2 right now?
Yes,
is that where we
6-2.
are? And to go up against Festus and to put a game together like that, they were up 14-0 at one point.
Right.
I know they also lost a running back that maybe from the weight room. I don't think he got to play. Maybe is that right?
That could be.
Yeah. So they might have lost one of their running backs before the game. So maybe they were down a man, but they certainly performed on the field. So, yeah.
Kyle, is there anything else you want to say? I mean, this has been a great interview.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
We haven't asked you about.
Well, I just want to encourage you guys to keep, doing what you're doing. I appreciate you, Mark. You've carried this message around this county for a long time. Jason, just getting to know you again. You said that you'd interview me back in the Super Bowl
Back
on
in
the Radio
2000,
Row, maybe.
yes.
But that I hope it's not onset of dementia, but
No, that's okay. You probably talked to a lot of people back then, I would assume.
yeah, that was a busy week. But no, I appreciate you. I just want to encourage you guys to keep carrying your message, and you guys have been out there rowing this boat for a long time, and it's good for somebody like me to come back every once in a while and see familiar faces.
Oh, by the way, we said last question, but you said you had a story about Natalie Sago you wanted to tell?
Natalie Sago, and I will send this to you if she wouldn't mind. Her and I, look, I've been following her journey too, and she has called me, not so recently because I think she's kind of filled in and she's doing what she's doing and finding her way as an NBA ref. But there was some like, hey, what to expect, in that level of pressure and those kind of things and early on in her career. And I said, well, when you going to be out this way? And this was a couple of years ago. Tom Brady was still playing for the Patriots, right?
Wow.
Okay.
That's how long ago this
Been a while,
was. And
not too long.
so it was probably in her first 1 or 2 years of referee. And I said, well, there's a Monday night game. It's Tom Brady's last game that he'll be on Monday night coming into Baltimore. And she's like, oh, I'm in town. I'm doing the Wizards game. I'm like, all right, come in the night before. She was like on a Tuesday doing the game. I said, can you come in the night before? I have a friend that has a nice box at the Ravens Stadium. So I'm a bougie watcher these days.
Hey.
I don't go to the game out in the seats. But, I said, well, come on, man. We got the box. And she's like, yes. And so it was a great opportunity for her and I just to sit there and just kind of reconnect and just say, how did this happen? She told me her story and doing refereeing at AAU and her dad, of course, I know Shelton and all the days.
And he reffed last night.
Did he?
He was
still
the
going?
referee.
How about
Yeah,
that?
absolutely.
That's awesome. All right. So I'll send you guys a picture and I don't
Love
think
it.
she'll. And maybe you can post that out of
Yeah.
us at that game. And I'm just so proud of her what she's doing.
Fantastic. Very, very cool. Thanks so much for taking some time to talk to us today.
Yeah,
Appreciate it,
guys.
Kyle.
Yeah. We'll do this again.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
absolutely. You'll be our official NFL correspondent.
Give your
Call
best
me.
to your dad and mom for us.
will
and,
do.
And your brothers.
Yes.
Who was the
yes.
best athlete of the three of you in high school?
Honestly, Alex.
I knew I had a
Alex.
feeling you might say
Oh yeah,
that.
no, he could run, he could catch, and he had his chance. He did go to Kansas State, and just didn't work out, for as a walk on at Kansas State. But that's the journey. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. But hands down, Alex is a good high school
I had a
athlete.
feeling you might say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Wow. Way to
It
go,
wasn't
Alex.
me. I have the best hands, though.
There you
There you go.
There you
Yeah.
go, yeah.
And the best leg, too.
Yeah.
that worked out.
Kyle Richardson, Super Bowl champion. Oh, did you? How often? I got to ask. How often do you get the ring out?
I will probably venture that thing out maybe once a month. It depends on if there's something that somebody's asked me to do.
Okay.
But mostly it's in a safe place, in a very unassuming place, that my daughter watches over it.
So maybe next time the Parkland podcast can make the cut, right?
Yes.
Yes.
there
It's
you
going to
go.
run it by your daughter.
Yes.
All right.
All right, thanks again.
Thanks,
Kyle
Kyle.
Richardson, Super Bowl champion, Farmington High School graduate, joining us here on the Parkland podcast. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Missouri Department of Transportation, all this awesome construction
And
happening
that
around.
darn road in
And that
Deloge.
roundabout in
What's this
Deloge.
roundabout? Some
Man.
European thing.
Come
going
on now.
Chris Crocker, our guest next on the podcast. We're on Facebook and YouTube Live.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
Parkland Pharmacy is out to prove that local independent pharmacy is alive and well. We work hard at giving you an excellent experience every time you come to see us. We love what we do, and we would love to take care of you. There's no need to be frustrated with your health care. If you're tired of what your pharmacy is not doing for you, then stop waiting in line and come see us today. We have 6 locations across Southeast Missouri, so Google us to find the store nearest you or visit parklandrx.com. Parkland Pharmacy is a local pharmacy at its finest.
It's the memories made during a weekend with the girls, a family adventure, or a Sunday stroll in historic downtown. At First State Community Bank, we have a strong passion for small business owners and the students and families who live, work, and play here. Our passion for them runs deep because this is our community too. First State Community Bank. Success starts here.
When comfort matters, count on Capayas Heating and Cooling. Proudly serving St. Francis and surrounding counties, they are your local Bryant Factory authorized dealer, delivering top quality heating and cooling solutions for your home or business. Founded in 2004 by Chuck Capayas, a family-owned and operated company that you can trust. Visit capayasheatingandcooling.com today. Capayas Heating and Cooling in Farmington, 756-1224.
Since 1941, Busenbark Flooring has been Southeast Missouri's trusted name in flooring. This family-owned business features top-quality carpet, tile, and hardwood, along with countertops, kitchens, and bathrooms, all with expert installation. Need to haul it? Busenbark Trailer Sales has you covered. Come see the large selection of dump trailers, equipment haulers, goosenecks, livestock trailers, and more. Visit busenbarkflooring.com and busenbarktrailersales.com, or stop by and see everything at the Fairgrounds exit on Highway 67. Back on the Parkland podcast here on Facebook and YouTube Live, and now we're joined by Chris Crocker with the Missouri Department of Transportation. My goodness, you have been very, very busy, I would assume, the last 6 months or so, right?
Oh, yeah, we're always busy.
You're always busy. Always busy.
And I don't see any break in the horizon. So,
right?
Yep.
And you got a promotion too, didn't you?
Yeah. So since we've last talked, I was an area engineer at that time, and now I've moved on to a different department, more on our program delivery side. So working on designing the plans, project manager now. So
very good, very good.
Yep.
I think the main project that has gotten the most attention in the Parkland is the roundabout in Deloge. Fortunately, some good weather this summer, at least as far as construction goes. Very dry, and it appears to me that this project is on schedule. What are you hearing?
yeah, overall we've had pretty good weather. There were some times in there where I was glad I wasn't a construction worker. We had some pretty significant heat waves.
Yes.
And that may slow you down a little bit more than you might think if you're out there pouring concrete and doing
Take
those sorts of
breaks and
things.
stuff.
Oh yeah, got to stay hydrated. In fact, I think that contractor, Platten Creek, they had a few folks that maybe had to get some IVs or things like that just because of the dehydration and whatnot. But yeah, things are going really well out there right now. I actually visited the site on Friday just to get a better feel for what's going on, so I can give you a more accurate update. But currently, you can kind of see everything come together right now, so you can get a better visualization of what the roundabout's going to look like, once we're done with construction. So they're probably, I'd say, 50 to 60% complete with the pavement for that project. They're working on the north leg on State Street right now, on the west side of State Street, kind of by the Murphy's gas station right there. They plan to keep working on that segment of the roadway for the next week or two, and finish that up. And pending, they don't have any bad weather. I know we got the storm coming in today, but looking out in the horizon, it doesn't look like it's going to be too bad. So they should finish that up in the next week or so.
And then after that, as far as the whole project goes, I believe, December or going into the next year? What's the completion target date for this?
So the completion target date is mid to late December for us. Again, pending good weather and we don't have any big snow events or things like that. So, but before we get to that, they're actually planning on a traffic shift next Tuesday.
Ooh, okay.
At 10:30 at night. So we're going to try to do it once the traffic's really bogged down and it's pretty light. So if you've been there recently, you'll notice that on the east leg of the roundabout by Jack in the Box and Unico Bank, the traffic is kind of separated right there. There's almost like a median in that spot. They're going to pull those cones and put the westbound traffic that's coming like from Cedar Falls and 67 closer, more head-to-head like it normally would be on a two-lane roadway, so that they can pull those cones and move it and work on the north side of the road and get that completed.
It seems like people have been pretty patient for the most part through all this.
Yeah, and what I noticed on Friday when I was out there is that there was a pretty big rush in the morning, but it seems like most motorists are finding a different route.
Yeah.
Which is something that we encourage for all of our projects.
Absolutely.
But especially this one. But something else to go with that traffic shift that's coming up. So if you remember when we rebuilt the bridge on, what's that, southbound 67, we added that dual lane coming off the southbound ramp. That used to not be there. We added that because of the bypass that we used to construct that bridge. Well, we kept it because it worked really well. We're actually going to take that right turn lane out for the time being, so that we've only got one lane of traffic coming southbound on that ramp, and because we don't want traffic to get into that area where they're working at and redoing the pavement on the north side of Route 8. So
is this the end of the work? What's going to happen in December, or is there like going to be a follow-up project down the road?
Well, so this is as far as the roundabout goes. There's all kinds of stuff in the works. So I would say for the intersection at this particular location, this is the end for that particular intersection. We've talked with the city a lot about the signal that they have just north of that on State Street, kind of our Burger King.
Right.
So, a signal stops traffic and does what we call a platoon. It'll stack up traffic, and a roundabout's free flowing. We modeled that, and we didn't have any issues with their signal backing into our roundabout. But as the area continues to develop and grow, there may be a need for some improvements at that signal that's just north of that location. Now, that is the city of Deloge's, but there's always opportunities for like grants and things like that we can work with them in partnership. Also, if you didn't know this, there's a sidewalk job that the city of Deloge received a TAP grant for. So if you remember, they redid all that in the downtown area of Deloge, and they stopped at roughly Hawthorne Street. So they're going to take off from Hawthorne Street and down to Embry Drive, which is the Walmart entrance that we have closed right now.
Okay.
And that'll connect into a lot of the sidewalk that we're building on the roundabout itself. And then
wow, that'll be great, because pedestrians, even before this project started, that was treacherous going through there, walking to Walmart.
Yeah, we always try to take that into account when we're designing a project, and luckily we did notice that there was pedestrians crossing Highway 8 and State Street, and then also the city expressed an interest in us adding some of those crosswalks into the roundabout so that they could plan for those future accommodations. But beyond that, we do have a bridge program. So if you guys remember the other night, it was October 2nd.
Yes.
On a Thursday, we had what it was there was a previous patch. So our bridge crews will go out and they'll look for, we call it delamination. So when the rebar rusts, it'll kind of pop loose the concrete over time. And there was a previous repair on that bridge. It was in the northbound right or driving lane. And that came loose, so traffic worked it out, and it was a pretty big pothole, but it wasn't completely through the deck. Our maintenance crews got out there, and they the highway patrol had already had northbound 67 blocked off at that point in time, and they were detouring traffic onto Parkway Drive, actually. And so they inspected the pothole on the top side of the bridge, and then went and looked at it on the bottom side and looked for any additional delamination or spalling is what we call it. Didn't see anything, so they put a temporary patch in there with asphalt for that night so we could open it back up. And then the next day they come and re-inspected it during the daytime. Didn't see any issues with it, and then planned for a full repair that following weekend. On Monday, our bridge crews come out and remove that temporary patch and put back a more permanent patch. But with that, I wanted to kind of let you guys know and the community know that we do have a project that was already in the works before that, but we do have a project planned in 2030 to replace that northbound bridge. And it'll be very similar to what you see on the southbound as far as the span goes, and that retaining wall that they put in there. It'll basically be a cut and paste of that one on the opposite side.
So will this be a case where, like with the other bridge, where you get off at Deloge and you get back on?
That's up for debate.
Okay.
So, it was an easier decision with the southbound bridge because a lot of the traffic didn't have to they could use like Parkway to get into Deloge and whatnot. Whereas if we close this bridge, it'll cut off a little bit more traffic than the other one. So, that's an option if we can get a good detour in place. But also, there's always the option to, if you've ever seen us do like a bypass where we put traffic head to head. The problem with that on Highway 67 is the traffic volumes are pretty heavy, so it could create delays on Highway 67 that are pretty, significant or substantial, especially in those PM hours. So we get a lot of traffic that, I think a lot of folks work in St. Louis and they're commuting back home. So that PM hour when people are coming back home, if that was head to head, that might create some pretty big backups. So, but we're still evaluating that right now.
Right. You would think though the way that that initial I guess rebar showing what I read on social media that night, I thought St. Francis County was going to be shut down for a month because that road was out. I was surprised at how quickly the crews were able to get things taken care of and get everything opened back up. But that's almost like a normal day at the office for you guys, right? This happens all the time in different places.
Yeah, we get all kinds of different emergencies that pop up, and our maintenance guys they did a really good job working with the highway patrol and then working with our bridge crews as well to basically identify that there wasn't anything structurally deficient with the bridge, that we could just put a patch in place and it would hold up to where we could turn traffic back loose on it. So what would have been a bigger issue is, maybe a full spall where, it was completely through the deck and it was that big. That would have been something where we probably have to shut it down a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Highway 67 has seen a couple of J turns added in recent years, and it seems like they're working out pretty well. I heard rumors that there's another one coming up as well.
Yeah. So we've actually got one already going in. We're working on the design on it right now. But if you've heard anything about Cherokee Pass, I don't know if you have or haven't, but we've hired a consultant, Garver Engineering, to design a J-turn over there at Cherokee Pass. We actually held a public meeting on that earlier this summer and presented two options to the public. So we're moving forward with a design on that one. But in addition to that, we are looking at more J-turns in Farmington as well. So if you're familiar with Hildebrook Road, we've currently got two J-turns in Farmington. One is at Overall and Perrine, just south of like Highway 221. And that was the first one that we worked with the city of Farmington to install. And then the other is at Route H. And you probably noticed that those are very different J
Yeah,
turns.
they are.
Right?
Yeah.
So the northern J turn has what we call offset lefts. So motorists can still make a left turn at that main intersection, but you have to, in order to make that right-hand movement, you'll have to loop back around if you're coming from either one of the intersections. So what we're looking at Hildebrecht is potentially going back with something that's more in line with the Route H J-turn that we have, that is just the J-turns itself, no offset lefts. Something else that we're exploring too is, because there already is a J-turn so close to that intersection at Route H, we always have like a public meeting to inform the public of the project and the timeline and what we're thinking as far as the improvements go. Well, we're probably going to present two different options there, one being the J-turn, the other being just closing the crossover there, making it more of like a right in, right out. So if we did that, you would have to go down south and hit the J-turns at Hildebrecht Road to go back north, or vice versa. If you're on the other side of the highway, you'd have to continue on like Highway H and hit the J-turns at 67 to make that opposite movement.
But it's all about safety.
Yeah. So when we're looking at that, we're basically eliminating conflict points with other traffic on Highway 67, and we're really looking to eliminate those T-bone type crashes.
Yeah, those are the worst.
Because, like we were talking about the roundabout earlier, roundabouts don't specifically reduce or eliminate crashes, and J-turns don't reduce they do help reduce crashes, but they don't eliminate them. But the crashes that we see at both a roundabout and J-turn tend to be less severe. So, we'll take property damage only, is what we call it, like a fender bender or something like that, all day long over a fatal or serious injury.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Folks that go to Chester, Illinois, looks like the Don Welge Memorial Bridge. How are things going with that project?
Things are going really well with that. I know you remember Brian Okenfoos, and his team. They're coming along. They basically constructed, if you've seen any of the 3D renderings, or if you've seen some of the videos that's been posted out there of the bridge, they've basically finished all three of the main towers on the main span, or the main structure itself. So that was a big accomplishment for them to finish those as far as the structures go themselves. Mm-hmm. So currently right now what they're doing is they're working on so those will have cables coming out of the towers.
Okay.
They've completed the cables on the Missouri side of the river, so the Missouri Tower, and they're working on the mid-river tower to install those cables and get them tensioned so that they can keep things moving along. But ideally, pending no major Mississippi River flooding or natural disasters or anything like that, they hope to have that bridge completed and open to traffic in middle of the next summer, so 2026.
Okay. Awesome. And this is a huge, money-wise, this was a huge deal.
Yeah, I think,
I
don't quote me,
about
it was
$250 million.
I think it was 280 million.
I knew
roughly.
It was a lot. And I know that you're not involved in this project at all, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but for folks who drive up and down 67 and 55, that's another huge project too, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. As far as the fact that it's not in the local area, it doesn't mean that it's not regionally significant.
Oh, yeah.
I used to actually go to school over at SIU Carbondale. That's where I got my degree in engineering, and I traveled across the old bridge all the time. And the farming community out there, they use that all the time during harvest season, because their alternative for that, because a lot of farmers have farms on both sides of the river, is the ferry in St. John. So they rely on it pretty heavily. And then Highway 51 is a good connection, which is where the Chester River Bridge is at. So yeah, it's a pretty regionally significant river. And if you think about it, the next bridge north of that is not until you get to like St. Louis or something.
Like
so
what, 255, I guess?
Yeah. So there's a pretty big gap
Right.
in there that the community relies pretty heavily on that. But after they complete the bridge and turn it over to traffic, they still got to get rid of the old bridge, right? So the contractor has until December of that year to complete that. And with these major river bridges, they'll typically put some dynamite on them and blow them up, and it's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
Not just as an engineer, but for anybody. And we always have to plan for that, right? So we've got motorists that maybe are going to try to get within the area. And so Brian and his team are trying to come up with a good plan with maybe some staging and parking and things like that to alleviate any concerns that maybe come out of that. So
Come on, kids, let's go watch a bridge get
right,
demolished.
right.
So-
Yeah, I'm trying to get tickets myself.
Yeah, I know.
So this is kind of a family podcast here. We don't like using 4-letter words, but you wanted to bring up the S word, meaning snow, and you've already started getting ready for that. Yeah, knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Especially with the construction that we've got going on, I really am hoping for every year we're hoping for a light winter, but we got to be prepared for it, right?
Sure.
So our maintenance crews every year they'll go out and they'll do what we call an annual winter snow drill where we simulate a statewide winter event. So they just did that this past week on October 16th, and what we do is we activate our emergency operations centers, which we call EOCs. All of our drivers, whether they're experienced or not experienced, go out and they get in their trucks and they drive their particular routes just to reacclimate themselves with the routes, familiarize themselves with their turnaround spots, and then depending on the route, there may be some curbs or mailboxes or things like that they got to be aware of, and it's just a good opportunity to train those new guys and then the seasoned veterans to just get refamiliarize themselves. So if you don't know, we've got a lot of new staff as well, so it's really great for them. Roughly, we looked at it statistically, 40% of our maintenance crew has less than 3 years of experience.
Oh, wow.
And then 16% have less than 1 year experience. Right. So it's vital for those guys to get out in these trucks and drive them and get familiar with them.
I have to ask you about beet juice. When I hear the word beet juice, I think of a couple of hillbillies up in the mountains somewhere with a still, and they're just making. What is beet juice?
Well, it's funny you say that because when I think of beet juice, I think of, if you've ever seen The Office, Dwight Schrute.
Yeah,
he's got a beet farm.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, so beet juice is just something that we use. We mix it in with our salt and cinders, and what it does is it lowers the freezing point of water. So when we apply that to our roadways ahead of time or with our salt mixture, then it makes the salt, and don't quote me on this, but let's say it works down to like 16 degrees or something like that.
Okay.
You mix in some beet juice with it, it works down to a lower temperature. So it basically gives us a better range as far as our material's effective.
And it's natural, so you don't feel bad.
Right, yeah.
With it washed away.
And that's a very good point.
Yeah.
We can't just add anything to our roadways because then it's going to get in your streams, lakes, and rivers. And, us in general, we're not going to be happy with it, and neither is like DNR or the community. So.
And you don't want to eat away at the roadways and cause yourself
that's true too.
Right.
problems down the road.
Which,
with that.
we do have to battle that as well. Just the salt in general, and we use like straight chloride on like Highway 67, a more priority type route. But our bridges, especially the steel beam bridges, they take a beating every year. And our bridge crews will come out afterwards and they'll wash the bridges, just to get that winter weather salt and all that chlorides off of it. But the beet juice is definitely less invasive.
Very good. Chris, appreciate your time this morning, man.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
coming
Good
out Saturday
information.
morning.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of great information covered up, and we'll have you back, I don't know, about 6 months or so. We'll see how the roundabout finished up, because I know there's talk of roundabouts in other places in the Parkland coming soon, I believe.
Yeah. So, we're working right now currently with the city of Farmington. I don't know if you guys have seen that one or not.
And that one's going to be right around Rural King, I think, on that side.
So it's at the Maple Street interchange.
Okay.
If you're headed southbound, you're going to go to Rural King or Hobby Lobby. It's that kind of a 5-legged intersection right now.
Yeah.
There, they've partnered with us to apply for cost share funds, if you've ever heard of that.
Okay.
And that's really how the county built Berry Road Bridge. They partnered with us on that. But, you know, we're actually at the end of this month going to present that to the senior leadership at MoDot to see if they can get some of those funds to go forward with that. And then actually that'll be led by the city themselves. So we're kind of taking a back seat to
Right.
that one and letting them drive. So to
More an
speak.
advisor
Right.
for that. Very
Right.
good. Awesome.
Yep.
Chris, thanks a lot,
Thanks,
man.
Chris.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
you bet.
Chris Crocker with Missouri Department of Transportation joining us here on the Parkland Podcast. Quick break. Our friend Dave Werner's here. He's
Food.
going to talk
We're
to
gonna
us
talk
next
food.
about food and who knows what else. That's coming up next here. You're watching the Parkland Podcast, 9:07 on this Saturday morning.
When comfort matters, count on Capias Heating and Cooling. Proudly serving St. Francis and surrounding counties, they are your local Bryant Factory authorized dealer, delivering top quality heating and cooling solutions for your home or business. Founded in 2004 by Chuck Capias, a family-owned and operated company that you can trust. Visit CapiasHeatingandCooling.com today. Capias Heating and Cooling in Farmington, 756.
It's the memories made during a weekend with the girls, a family adventure, or a Sunday stroll in historic downtown. At First State Community Bank, we have a strong passion for small business owners and the students and families who live, work, and play here. Our passion for them runs deep because this is our community too. First State Community Bank. Success starts here.
Parkland Pharmacy is out to prove that local independent pharmacy is alive and well. We work hard at giving you an excellent experience every time you come to see us. We love what we do, and we would love to take care of you. There's no need to be frustrated with your health care. If you're tired of what your pharmacy is not doing for you, then stop waiting in line and come see us today. We have 6 locations across Southeast Missouri, so Google us to find the store nearest you or visit parklandrx.com. Parkland Pharmacy is a local pharmacy at its finest.
Why do so many people like working at the Southeast Missouri Mental Health Center?
The pay is awesome. What we do for our clients is awesome. The coworkers that we have, the staff, everybody is just, they're all welcoming.
I feel very supported. It's a great network of people that we have working here. We really work together, I think, to try to improve the lives of those that we serve.
The insurance is phenomenal. The cost is minimal. They're good to us. And the benefits are so great, you can't beat it.
Apply today. Looking for your next car, truck, van, or SUV? Point to Pettis. At Pettis Automotive, service, affordability, and selection are more than just words. They're the foundation of everything they do. You'll see the selection when you drive by any of their 3 locations. You'll feel the affordability when you talk to their experienced sales team. And you'll love the service every time you come in for maintenance. New or pre-owned, from Farmington to Fredericktown to DeSoto, point to Pettis. Visit pettisauto.com. Point to Pettis.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
Matt Stroud Excavating and Hauling has the equipment and know-how to get that job done right. They dig basements, ponds, lakes, roads, and clearings and haul in the rock. Check out Matt Stroud Excavating and Hauling's commercial work at Domino's in Farmington and Fredericktown and Leadbelt Motorsports. Call Matt Stroud Excavating and Hauling today at 701-3258. That's 701-3258.
Back on the Parkland podcast on this Saturday morning. It is 9:11. We got a current temperature outside right now, Mark Tody, of 72 degrees. I don't know about you, but it felt kind of humid, kind of sticky, kind of steamy this morning.
It was great this morning when I did my 3.5 mile walk, I might add, but I wanted to get it in before the rain moves in. In fact, if you scroll down a little bit there, we could see where if there's any rain popping up in the area right there. That looks like we're not too far away from a little bit of precipitation.
Yeah, if you're watching this live, looks like there's like a little bit of some shower activity around the Ironton area, kind of between Bismarck and Ironton, back almost into Reynolds County. I feel like I'm back on J98 doing weather coverage again, Mark.
Stop us if you've heard this before, but it looks like the rain is kind of moving along the I-44 corridor right now. There's some pretty heavy storms between 44 and 70 that we're looking at. So it's just a matter of how it moves through the area. But it's going to move in today and tonight and then move out. And then for folks who have been crying about being ready for fall, I myself will take 75 all year long.
Sure.
But you're going to get your wish. We're going to have lows in the 40s and highs in the 60s next week. So.
Oh, man, that's bonfire weather. I am ready. Got another great guest here joining us now on the Parkland podcast. We have our friend Dave Werner here from the Knights of Columbus. How are you, sir? How you doing?
I'm great. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. Kiwanis. I'm sorry, I put you in the Knights of Columbus.
I belong to them too.
Okay, so I didn't just make that up. Okay,
no.
Good deal.
No.
Good deal.
Dave will sell you a house, and then he will cook your first meal in it if you work out a good enough deal with him. This man can cook. I've had his barbecue before. It is fantastic.
And you have a barbecue coming up Saturday, November the 1st. Tell us about that event.
Yeah, it's a big event for the Kiwanis Club. We've had some events we've done in the past that we don't do anymore, like the radio days. We don't do that anymore. So this is a big fundraiser for our general fund. And with that money, we send make donations to Boy Scouts of America, United Way of St. Francis County, the Women's Shelter. Mm-hmm. We have this general fund that gives us an opportunity to help those in need right away. We don't have to fundraise. We have the money ready throughout the year.
Good.
What can people expect to see on the menu that day?
I am making pulled pork.
I knew it. I
always use apple cider, and I get a bag of fresh apples, dice it up really small, some good sweet yellow onions, and put it in there and let it simmer all day long, and it'll be ready first thing Saturday morning for people ready to eat lunch.
Oh, my gosh.
So the apples and the onions are in the pulled pork, but they're so finely cut and, like, I guess, overcooked that you can't tell.
Exactly. They kind of just blend in with the meat. So, yeah.
And you're going to be at the Old Family Video parking lot?
Yes, sir. We're going to also have some cheeseburgers. We're going to get some big old jumbo hot dogs. It'll come with homemade coleslaw, chips, bottle of water for $10.
Wow. It probably start about, 11 or so selling?
Yeah, we'll be there about 10 to kind of get things set up, and then we'll be selling till about 1.
Or until you run out.
Or until we run out. Yes, sir.
Very good. What are some other causes that the Kiwanis support in the area?
The fish one, the one with the Little Caesars. The fish with the kids go out to.
The Wiggle and Giggle.
The Wiggle and Giggle. Sorry.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. And another big thing that we do is with the Key Club at the high school.
Yeah.
That's a leadership group. Pat King helps out with that as a liaison between the Kiwanis and them. Their big fundraiser is the Pink Out football game.
Yes.
They raise a ton
Coming up
of
this
money
Friday.
for that.
Yeah.
And they'll come, the Key Club will come and help us with some of our events. So we help with that.
Don't you have a big golf tournament?
We do. We have a really big golf tournament, and that's out at Crown. And we raise a lot of money for that. That money goes to MAC scholarships.
Great. When does the Kiwanis Club get together if people are interested in joining?
Yeah, we'd love to have some new folks. We get together every other Wednesday at the Pasta House at noon. We have lunch, discuss upcoming events, upcoming needs that need to be filled. We're in charge of the chain gang for the high school games.
Oh.
So we do that. And yeah, it's just a great group of people and just trying to give back to the community.
And one of the things I've noticed about the Kiwanians is once you're, I don't say you have to be a Kiwanian for life, but there's been people who have been a member of that club for years and years and years.
Oh my gosh, Keith Bishop, he's been president many times, 40, 50 years, just a great guy. Like I said, Judge Pat King, he's been involved. Like I said, he's the liaison with the Key Club at the high school. Just got some great folks. I got involved through Danny Combs from First State Community Bank. Our kids grew up together at St. Joe. So I got in and, jumped in 2 feet and started with the barbecues and helping them with that side.
No truth to the rumor that Mandy really runs things, though?
There might be some truth to that, yes. What is that commercial? When Mandy talks, people listen.
People listen.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love you, Mandy.
Yeah.
We do.
I wanted to ask you about another cause that you're involved in, helping out our friend Roy Henson. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, the Knights of Columbus got involved right away, and we've raised quite a bit of money. We're at $8,000. We still have $2,000 to go. Group of us, another group from St. Joe, we call ourselves the St. Joe Men's Club for Men.
Right, yes.
We got together and talked to a friend of ours. We call him Top Jimmy, Jim Gerwitz out of MAC.
Yes.
And we're in preliminary plans, but we're going to put together something out at MAC and get a big push to get that last $2,000 for Roy. They're going to update and his handicapped bathroom.
Yeah.
So we're going to make life a lot easier for Roy because he is a great guy, as you guys know.
He's just community treasure.
Oh my gosh, yes, yeah.
And it's only fitting that Mac gets involved because Roy gave a lot of years to that college.
He did. Just a lot of love, a lot of work. It's like part of the institution.
He is, no doubt about it. How are things going in the real estate market these days?
Oh, it is a blessing. I'll tell you that. Yeah. Business is up. The interest rates have come down. I have some folks. He's a veteran. He just got a VA loan for the mid-5s. So people are moving. And what I love about this time of year is people say, oh, this is the slow time.
Yeah.
There might not quite be as many buyers out there, but the ones that are out there are serious. The people that are out there through the holidays and through Christmas, those are folks that need to move, so they're good buyers and sellers.
They're ready to go.
Yeah.
They're moving because they have to. And I guess more of the planned moves, that typically happens, I guess, during the early spring and summer. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the normal time. People want to get, it's a little easier to get a little time off work, a little time, kids aren't in school, things like that.
Kim Hudson, you work with Coldwell Banker, Halsey Real Estate. Kim Hudson heads that up, does a wonderful job. Hi, Kim. She's a member of the United Way board of directors as well. But you also have the memory of Cecil Halsey that probably gets brought up all the time.
My gosh, what a good man.
Yeah.
I mean, also a service member, served the military, started that company, just a ton of integrity. Just a good man. I had a lot of respect for him and learned a lot from him. Yeah. Great husband, they were just a lovely family, great dad to the daughters.
Well, I have a question for you. I bought my house back in 2008, and I go to Zillow every now and then, and I look at what it's worth, and it's basically doubled.
It's worth $1 billion now, right? According to Zillow.
No, that's my brother's house, but that's another story for another time.
All right.
But is that a normal progression, or is the market just really kind of exploded in that direction recently since, COVID maybe?
Yeah, there's been, the prices have certainly gone up. It's steady through most of the years. And then you have these couple of years where interest rates drop and you get the prices going up quite a bit. Mm-hmm. We've been in kind of a good pattern where prices have held steady for the past few years. Mm-hmm. Zillow, it's interesting. It's not that they're always wrong. It's just that it's in a logarithm. Mm-hmm. So it might show how I sold my house on Smith Street and Jason sold his house up the street on Smith Street. And without knowing about yours, it just generates, well, yours must be around that price too if you have 3 beds and 2 baths also. So it can be an indicator for sure, but you need to have a realtor come out and take a look and actually see the bones, the updates, and
because I remember
you have a garage and somebody else doesn't.
Right.
So.
And so you can pop something on there and it gives you like a general guesstimate, but then you can kind of massage the numbers because like you start putting into Zillow, well, there's a pool and there's this and there's that. And that also kind of helps the ratings as well as I guess it helps the pricing as well. How big of a learning curve has that been for yourself and other real estate agents as you've tried to navigate this new technology?
Yeah, it's a little hard sometimes when people see that their house has tripled in 4 years.
Yeah.
And you go out and, well, the neighbor, he had the house in the 3-car garage and the extras, and it's like you have to tell them, well, there are special circumstances. Yours might not be quite as much, but then there are times that the logarithm has always only read 2 or 3 bed, 2 baths, and you get there and it's like, wow, you have all these extra amenities. Your house is worth more than that.
Mm-hmm. If they saw the inside of my house, that price would go way back down again. That's another story for another time as well. I want to talk about food again because we mentioned the barbecue coming up on November 1st, family video. But barbecue is not your only specialty. You can cook quite a few things, can't you?
Yes, I am blessed. I can cook a lot of things. One of my biggest donations to different things, I've donated one to the United Way, to St. Joe dinner auction, is shrimp oils.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That's a big one I do because it's something I can kind of do on my own. People really like that. And I go to your home, 12, 15, 20 people, and it's shrimp and potatoes and the sausage and all the goodies. And it's really a nice party that I donate. And then sometimes my buddy Ted Casamatis, we get together and donate a big Greek dinner.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of fun. People get a big kick out of that because his parents are from Greece. Mm-hmm. I think it's his Yaya and Papos.
Yaya and Papos, nice.
And he still has their recipes. So we'll get together and shop on a Thursday, and we start early Saturday morning prepping it all, and then we'll come to your house and set it all up and serve you.
And you mentioned the St. Joe Men's Club for Men. That's just not a club where you get together and have a few drinks and tell stories, although I'm quite sure knowing some of the guys that are in it that happens.
There are some stories, yes.
But boy, you guys have been busy giving back to the community since you started a few years ago.
Yeah, we donate last year we all kicked in and got, I call it the Magic Pig Box. It's like from Central America, and it holds up to 100-pound pig. And we roast a pig for different charities now, and we'll take it and sell it off. We just did one for the Helping Hands last week with Rick Pius. Tom Benoist came down, and we did that. So we probably do 10 to 12 dinners a year for different causes. We've done the women's shelter. We've done local, like I said, St. Joe's dinner auction, just any way we can to help causes that need funds and money raised.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You mentioned when the Kiwanis gets together. When does the St. Joe Men's Club for Men get together?
A little more impromptu.
Okay.
A little, kind of like you have a barn. Rick Topias has a barn, and that's kind of our meeting place. There may or may not be adult beverages. I can't confirm that. But.
Or deny. But come on out and find out. Anything else you got working on? Any other projects, things like that?
Yeah, well, right now we're just working on the real estate, trying to I got 3 daughters in college, so.
Oh man, yeah. So you need to sell some homes.
I need to sell some homes. Yeah.
How are they doing? I know they were pretty successful at St. Joe and at the high school. How's college treating them?
It's treating them well. My oldest, Gabrielle, is at Illinois State, and she's getting her master's degree in psychology.
All right.
My middle's Ava, and she's a senior at Loyola New Orleans and headed to med school.
Wow.
And my youngest, sweet Catherine, she's a freshman at Southern Oregon.
Wow,
Southern Oregon.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. She wants to save the world, but in the non-hippie way.
Okay. She'll get to do a little bit of hiking, won't she?
Oh, she's an outdoorsman for sure. She's
So she's
fishing,
loving that part
hiking,
of
the
it.
kayaking.
Yeah.
That's
She
the
took up
place to be.
surfing. Yeah.
Huh. Wow. Very, very cool. That is awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on the podcast and talking to us. Always a good time.
Yeah, I love seeing you guys, and thanks for having us. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you again and trying to raise some money for these folks.
Again, November 1st.
November 1st.
Starting available around 11.
10-ish to about 1:30-ish, to, like you said, till we run out.
Family video, parking lot. Count me in. I'll be there.
Fantastic. I look forward to seeing you guys.
All right. Dave, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jason.
All right. Dave Werner joining us here on the Parkland Podcast on YouTube and Facebook Live. 72 degrees. We'll be back with a check of news next.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
It's the memories made during a weekend with the girls, a family adventure, or a Sunday stroll in historic downtown. At First State Community Bank, we have a strong passion for small business owners and the students and families who live, work, and play here. Our passion for them runs deep because this is our community too. First State Community Bank. Success starts here.
Looking for your next car, truck, van, or SUV? Point to Pettis. At Pettis Automotive, service, affordability, and selection are more than just words. They're the foundation of everything they do. You'll see the selection when you drive by any of their 3 locations. You'll feel the affordability when you talk to their experienced sales team. And you'll love the service every time you come in for maintenance. New or pre-owned, from Farmington to Fredericktown to DeSoto, point to Pettis. Visit pettisauto.com. Point to Pettis.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
Parkland Pharmacy is out to prove that local independent pharmacy is alive and well. We work hard at giving you an excellent experience every time you come to see us. We love what we do, and we would love to take care of you. There's no need to be frustrated with your health care. If you're tired of what your pharmacy is not doing for you, then stop waiting in line and come see us today. We have 6 locations across Southeast Missouri, so Google us to find the store nearest you or visit parklandrx.com. Parkland Pharmacy is a local pharmacy at its finest.
When comfort matters, count on Capayas Heating and Cooling. Proudly serving St. Francis and surrounding counties, they are your local Bryant Factory authorized dealer, delivering top quality heating and cooling solutions for your home or business. Founded in 2004 by Chuck Capayas, a family-owned and operated company that you can trust. Visit capayasheatingandcooling.com today. Capayas Heating and Cooling in Farmington, 756-1224.
Man, we've had guests galore here this morning. We haven't even opened up the show yet, really. We just kind of rolled in with Kyle Richardson joining us.
Hey, when the Super Bowl should have been MVP walks in,
you stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
So 9:31 on this Saturday morning. I was going to say let's start with news, but let's start from the top. I mean, we want to thank our sponsors. We haven't even thanked our sponsors yet. I mean, we've been showing them on the screen, those of you that are watching live and not listening. But, I mean, we want to thank the fine folks at Parkland Pharmacy, Discover Farmington, Heimberger Construction, and Subway. And what a tremendous football game last night with Dexter and Central.
Well, we could have had a choice of great football games, as it turns out. Farmington Festas was a dandy football game.
Yeah.
You were thanking our sponsors.
Yes.
I do want to say hey to the Subway girls. I went and saw them yesterday. Got some of that broccoli cheddar soup that is so good, and they are just wonderful girls. And I got to send a shout out to Jeremy Horton.
Our friend Jeremy.
Friend Jeremy from Bailey Joe's Barbecue. I saw him last night. He just got back from a big trade show at the Lake of the Ozarks.
At Margaritaville, I bet?
I'm not sure where exactly it was, but he says he got to show his product to a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of different venues, and his sauce is going over well. So you can stop by Bailey Joe's and get a great meal, but definitely check out some of that sauce, some of the sauce that he sells, and you won't be sorry.
We want to thank those sponsors for, again, sponsoring the podcast week after week. I'm sure, as always, you had a busy week taking on a little more responsibility from the United Way. What'd you do this week, Mark Toby?
Pretty much United Way stuff. Helped at the food pantry, helped at the senior center a little bit. I saw Jenny Heimberger Thursday. I went and had a drink with her and Michelle. And then last night I saw Jeremy out and about. He's going to be a grandpa here in a few more months. And then next week I saw Jim Gerwitz. We talked about Jim Gerwitz earlier on. I saw Jim Gerwitz and Joe Gilgore and Kevin Thurman at the Farmington Elks Lodge on Friday night.
Fun crew.
And I am going to be the PA announcer Tuesday for the girls volleyball.
Oh, wow.
Thing. So that should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to getting behind a microphone.
Yeah. Are you looking for some PA work in the future?
We can always talk.
We can always talk, okay, because I know sometimes the people call me and say, hey, you got somebody that might be interested in that?
Chad Speaker usually does it. He can't make it Tuesday, and Jim was sweating finding somebody, and then we talked, and he goes, yeah.
Well, yeah, but you throw in Mark Toady. I mean, come on, right?
Yeah.
That's a good...
I'm no Chad Speaker, but I'll do my best.
Who is Chad Speaker? I got a short week next week. Parent-teacher conferences are coming up Tuesday night, and then I have a half-day Wednesday and off Thursday and Friday. And, of course, as the schedule lies, we have 2 football games happening those days. Thursday night we'll be at North County, as the Sullivan Eagles come to town. And then Friday, the big matchup, the Central Rebels and the Farmington Knights doing battle to close out our coverage of high school football this season. Are you planning on coming to that game?
I think I might.
Okay.
I think I might.
You said you came to homecoming and had a good time.
Yeah.
Very good. And also, too, you ran into Kyle Richardson this week, and obviously he came on the show today. Where'd you see him?
He was at 12 West with his dad and his brothers and his mom, and they were celebrating Jack's 85th birthday.
Wow, happy birthday, Coach Richardson.
Definitely.
No doubt
Great
about
man.
it. Other item of business, and I keep forgetting to mention this, we have a new winter home now.
Yes.
So coming up when it starts getting cold, I think in December, we're going to be moving to Ransom's General Store in Deloge in their meeting room. That'll be ours every Saturday morning for as long as we need it.
Appreciate the folks from Ransoms for doing that for us. And since we're talking about Deloge, I want to send a shout out. I went to a ribbon cutting basically for a Big Door Coffee
there are
house.
events going on right now, right?
Yes, and as soon as we're done with the podcast, I think I may shoot up to Deloge and just kind of take it all in if it's not pouring down rain or
Cruise
something
through the
like
roundabout
that. So
a few times.
that's pretty awesome stuff going on there too.
Yeah. So congratulations to them. We'll talk about that coming up in events. All right, lay some trivia on me. What do you have, Mark Tody?
All right, we'll start you off with an easy one.
Okay.
The original drummer for the Beatles was?
Pete Best.
Pete Best.
Sorry,
Very good.
should have paused for those playing at home. My apologies.
All right. Randy Bachman.
Yes.
Bachman Turner Overdrive.
Okay.
Was also a founding member for another very important group in rock history.
I heard this the other day, and it has now escaped my brain. Randy Bachman was also in... I don't know.
Can you guess who it would be? Can you guess who it would be?
No, I can't guess.
Can you guess
Can
who?
I guess? Oh, the Guess Who!
Hey!
Hey! No, I can't.
There you go. There you go. All right. Other than being great musicians,
Okay.
Jimi Hendrix, Pearl Jam, Heart, Kenny G, and Joni Mitchell all have this in common.
They're all from Seattle?
Very good. Very good. All right. And last but not least, the song Better Man, Better Off, big hit for Little Big Town. Who wrote it?
Little Big to the country?
Yes.
What was it again?
Better Man, Better Off.
Better Man, Better Off.
basically.
Not. It's all right to be little bitty. Better Man, Better Off. Little Big Town was written by John Bon Jovi.
Not John Bon Jovi. Think more Travis Kelce.
Think more. Oh, Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift wrote
Oh
that
wow!
song
I'll be
for Little Big Town.
I'll be.
So
I
I
did
thought
not
I'd
know
throw
that.
that in there for our country music listeners.
Yes, for our Swifties.
Yes, for
We got
our
a lot-
Swifties.
We got a lot of Swifties that follow the Parkland podcast for all of the Taylor Swift information that we include every week. I was trying to think. Totally Awesome Radio Stories. You got any of those?
I bet. Well, we told it during the Kyle Richardson interview. Just the idea of tracking him down through his dad and finding him in Germany and getting him on the air and then keeping in touch with him over the years.
Right.
To me, that's a totally awesome radio story. It's awesome for me because he's such a good dude.
Yeah. Very, very good interview. I felt really bad having a full Mountain Dew over there when he's talking about what we need to put in our body and things.
Well, I'm just glad I could impress him with my 9,000
Yeah,
steps
you did,
already.
man. You were very impressive with that. Parkland Pharmacy. They are a small town pharmacy at its finest. They have the locations in Deloge. They're in Farmington. They're in Fredericktown, Ironton, Greenville, and Piedmont. And cold and flu season is coming up. I know we talked about this on the last show. probably a good idea to schedule that flu shot soon.
Already got mine.
You already got yours?
Yeah, I already got mine from the good folks at Parkland Pharmacy. Julie Berghaus herself took care of that for me. And I'm getting ready to get in touch with Judy to talk about my Medicare stuff because she takes care of that. Judy Boring. She's fabulous.
She is fabulous.
So, yeah, they can really help you out. And they've got great customer service. Carrie, happy October to you.
Yeah, and the delivery is second to none. I mean, pretty much when it comes to pharmacies, they're all kind of locked into about the same price, but Parkland Pharmacy does those little things that really make a difference, and you will not be disappointed when you make them your pharmacy next time you go to the doctor. Parkland Pharmacy, small town pharmacy at its finest. They are the official pharmacy of the Parkland podcast. Ready to roll into news, my friend?
Yeah, we're going to let people know it's a shortened version of news because our interviews kind of really went long. But yes, let's do news.
All right. So on August 24th, the St. Francis County Sheriff's Department responded to a report of sexual abuse involving a juvenile. The victim provided a detailed account of the incident, which included allegations of inappropriate physical contact and identified the subject. The accused was located and detained at his residence, arrested, transported, and booked in the St. Francis County Adult Detention Center. The case was transferred to the Detective Bureau for further investigation. Following an interview with detectives, formal charges were filed on October 10th against Nathan S. Brooks, and he is charged with fourth-degree child molestation. His bond is set at $100,000. The St. Francis County Sheriff's Department reminds you that if you or someone you know is experiencing abuse, please contact your local authorities or support services immediately.
A couple of things from the city of Farmington. The city has announced that officials are discouraging the consumption of fish caught from the city lakes. Consuming fish harvested from Hager, Giesing, and Thomas lakes is not being recommended. The city and Missouri Department of Conservation have cooperatively managed the lakes, including the regular introduction of fish stock due to the possible health risks associated with consuming fish harvested from 3 lakes. These 3 lakes, regular stocking of fish has been suspended. At the city's direction, the annual stocking of trout for catch and release season from November 1st through February has also been canceled. Signs will be installed as soon as possible at the lakes to advise users as of the potential health risks. Also, we got something from Kristen about the Farmington Community Civic Center wrapping up renovations on the Civic Center auditorium and locker room areas. A lot of work has gone in. The auditorium, which includes the indoor lap pool and play pool, has been closed since late spring, which resulted in some indoor pool activities being relocated to the outdoor pool area, but those upgrades are pretty much done. And just to let folks know, in the near future, I believe they are going to be moving a lot of the weight equipment to the downstairs area. So there are some more things that are going to be happening over the winter months at the Farmington Civic Center, but the majority of the work is done.
Big news story right now is our weather. We are looking at rain for the first time in many areas in a long time, as we are in a definite drought, and this chance of showers and thunderstorms possible after 2 o'clock this afternoon. Some of these storms could produce heavy rainfall. We'll see a high temperature of 78, and winds will be out of the southwest, gusting as high as 20 miles per hour. And as we look at our radar right now, we can see, as you mentioned earlier, that big glob of precipitation starting to make its way up the Interstate 44 corridor.
And if you click on that, it will go in motion, but it is moving off to the east, northeast, but there's so much there. When this happens, it usually spreads south as the day goes on and the heat builds up. So I dare say it's not going to miss us.
So we're looking at 100% chance of rain this afternoon, again, after 2 o'clock, and look for that rain to continue to be in the area till after midnight. Most likely chance of severe weather will be when the front originally moves in. And again, we'll have an overnight low of 46. And then tomorrow, I guess fall finally starts, Mark Tody?
Yeah, good. Well, it's going to be windy tomorrow.
Windy fall.
64 for the high, then a low of 40 degrees. Break out those jackets.
Yeah.
But still not too awful bad considering we're less than 2 weeks away from Halloween. And November's right around the corner. Still 60s and 70s throughout most of the week.
So good-looking forecast coming up and a chance of rain Thursday night into Friday as we look ahead, well ahead into our forecast. But again, be weather aware today. We're not in definitely not in any kind of like area where we're expecting bad storms, but definitely something to keep an eye on and be weather aware of for the rest of the day. Would you like to roll into events now?
Let's do events. Let's start with one tonight.
Yeah, we got quite a few happening. We have the Big Door Coffee House. Their first birthday bash is going on right now. Going until 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Also, I want to talk about something I'll be involved in, Voices of the Past, the Historic Cemetery Tour. It starts around 4:30 now. Because of the threat of weather, they're moving it into Long Memorial Hall, where you will see me, Doobie, on display.
And no hay rides then, I guess? That part's probably...
They haven't said anything about the hay rides. So
well, nobody wants to sit on a
The hay rides,
bale
we're
of
going
hay.
to the cemetery, so I doubt that they'll have the hay rides.
Yeah, you don't want to sit on a wet bale of hay. Fourth annual Donnelly Lamar Poker Run getting underway here in about 15 minutes. That goes until 4 o'clock. It starts at the trailhead at the St. Joe Park entrance, and they got lots of stops and lots of places to go for that.
There's a Saturday matinee going on today at the Farmington Library for Halloween-themed ages 17 and over. It starts at 1:30.
Meet the teams. Meet the MAC teams. That happens coming up on October 22nd at 5:30 at the Bob. You can meet the men's and women's basketball programs and the cheerleaders.
Met several of the players at this week's Farmington Regional Chamber of Commerce meeting. Great group of kids. Group of kids. They like getting involved in the community, so you'll definitely want to come out and support them. And then next week, you want to check out the big trunk or treat at MAC on the staff parking lot.
Yeah, that's going to happening from 5 to 7 on the 23rd. Downtown Farmington trick or treating. That's next Friday, the 24th. And they'll have a costume contest. That's a big event, Mark.
Yeah, I was the MC last year because Kristen didn't want to get up and talk on the microphone. So I said I'd do it, and I'm going to do it again this year and be a judge. But lots of kiddos come out for that. There's lots of candy. It's a great time.
Oh, this is the night for candy. Also, Aptitude Internet has their haunted house and Halloween spooktacular. That's happening that same evening from 5 until 8.
Pettis Automotive Trunk or Treat, October 24th, 6 p.m.
Which is on Main Street, downtown Park Hills. That's from 5 to 9 that night.
And then on the 26th, 4 to 6, First Baptist Church of Farmington will have a trunk or treat.
That's a big one, too. Chick-fil-A is having theirs on October 28th at 5:30.
Well, if this wasn't sponsored by Discover Farmington, we could probably get a good dentist to sponsor this because they're going to get a lot of work out of this that weekend. The Deloge Library Trunk or Treat is Wednesday the 29th at 5 o'clock in Deloge Park.
Fourth annual Trunk or Treat at Camelot Nursing Center is on Thursday the 30th, and there's also another event on that night that I believe you're involved in, right?
Yeah, there's a big fundraiser for the United Way. Sing United. Going to be a great time. It's going to be the choirs of North County and Farmington getting on stage and performing, and they're going to raise some money for the United Way.
They'll have two concerts. They'll have a middle school concert and then a high school concert. So lots of chances for you to see your favorite singer. And then, of course, Friday, October 31st, I will be 50 years old, and there will be a trunk or treat in downtown Park Hills in my honor that night at 5:30.
What are you going to dress up as?
The number 5 and the number 0.
There you go. There you go. St. Joe Catholic School auction is Saturday, November 1st in the school gymnasium.
And I think we'll have some of the organizers of that event joining us next week here on the Parkland podcast. So those are your events. They're powered by Discover Farmington, more than you ever imagined. Discover Farmington can help you find out more about entertainment, dining, outdoor activities, wineries, and more. You can learn about local events, book a wedding or day trip, and that's discoverfarmingtonmo.com.
Let's roll into sports.
All right, sports on the Parkland Podcast, brought to you by MacTech, Southeast Missouri Mental Health Center, Domino's Pizza, and Capias Heating and Cooling. The Dexter Bearcats came into Park Hills last night. They were undefeated, not just this year, but the year before. In fact, the last time they had lost a regular season game was to the Central Rebels 2 seasons ago. They come to Central last night. A back-and-forth contest. Dexter takes a touchdown lead into the fourth quarter. The Rebels score with about 30 seconds left. They line up for an extra point. A penalty moves them half the distance to the goal. They go for 2. They go up 22-21. Dexter, with 38 seconds, drives down the field. A catch is made inside the 5-yard line by the Bearcats, but the tackle is made before the ball carrier can make it to the end zone. Rebels hold on and win it 22-21.
Shades of the Rams Super Bowl win.
I know, right? A crazy final. Go back and watch it right here on YouTube and Facebook.
Another great game last night. Festus took care of Farmington. It was homecoming for Festus, 41-36. Great game by both teams.
How about the Potosi Trojans? This is a big win. Normally, it's like, oh, yeah, they're supposed to beat DeSoto, but DeSoto's really good this year, and Potosi goes to the Dragons Palace, and they win it 40-14.
It was Fredericktown putting up 39 on Windsor, winning 39-22.
St. Genevieve rolling on. They win their homecoming matchup over the Blue Jays at Jefferson, 55-14.
Valley Catholic looking good, 56-6 over Bowling Green.
Hillsboro Hawks welcome in Chaminade, and the college prep delivers the big athletes a 42-7. Squeaks Pass lift for life, 17-16.
And it was Poplar Bluff winning as well, 34-18 over Kennett.
And one final from Thursday night, the North County Raiders go to the road to St. Clair, and they beat the Bulldogs 24-14. Now, we have 2 games coming up for you this coming week. On Thursday night, we'll be at North County as the Raiders welcome the Sullivan Eagles. And then on Friday night, we close out the regular season as the Central Rebels travel to Farmington to face the Knights. Pre-game show starting in the 6 o'clock hour for both those contests, and a 7 o'clock kickoff on Facebook and YouTube. Here is the head coach of the Central Rebels, Corey Schweiss, joining our Mike Reeves after the ball game.
Well, let's just look at it from this perspective. They talk a lot about find a way. Corey Schweiss, I mean, you found a way. You made big plays on both sides of the ball. Every facet made a big play at some point, and you find a way. Your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think that's one of those program wins, honestly. I think, it's one of those things that things didn't always go our way tonight for sure. And, our kids just never let us lose the game. I mean, they found a way to win it. We went back to our more traditional stuff that we had done and kind of, I wouldn't say we scrapped it, but we kind of went away from it. And Brody Pickham made some big throws for us, and our receivers made some plays. And, it's just good to see that we can go out and execute that kind of stuff as well.
Is it tough to do what Brody's doing in terms of game prep, or is it, hey, that's what we expect you to do, and your job is now this? When we need you, you need to be ready. Is it difficult at all, or is it just what's expected?
Well, we're asking a lot of him as a sophomore. I mean, when he's going into the game, teams right now are knowing we're probably going to be throwing the football, and that's not a good spot to be in, But he's doing well. I mean, I think he completed 5 of 6 last week in this, and I don't know what he was for sure tonight, but he completed most of his passes again tonight. And that's all you can ask when he goes in there. He's making plays, and I think he's gaining a little bit of confidence. And I know it was probably hard on him when we changed offenses, but at the same time, I think he understands we're just trying to do what's best for our football team at the time. And tonight, it was actually putting him back in the game when we were down a couple scores. So it was big for us to get this win tonight, especially doing it the way we did it.
We'll get to the end of the game in a moment, but the defensive stops that gave you a chance to do that. I was over on your sideline a lot of the night, and I know that was a big focal point. Was you guys helped us to get it back to having a chance in this one. How good were they at times? They were bend and don't break at times, but how big a plays were they making?
Well, it was big, especially once we lost Chad. We got 2 sophomores out there outside linebacker. We ended up putting Abel Mills in there a little bit that played outside linebacker, who's never played a snap of outside linebacker, I don't think, even in practice. And he made some big plays there. So, our guys stepped up. It was pretty actually amazing where we've come from since that week 5 debacle or whatever week that was. Our guys went out and made plays today that, kind of same situation as then and really with no time prepared, and actually went out and did pretty well. So pleased with all the guys' effort for sure.
The game-winning drive, you knew where the clock was, you knew where your situation was. They're out of timeouts. Towards the end, you're out of timeouts as well as you get down there. Was the intent all along that if we score, we're going to try to win this thing right now, or was that let's score first and then figure out what we're going to do? What was the talk amongst the coasters?
Oh, we were going to score 2 points there. I mean, I went out there before on the 4th and 5. We called a timeout. We really didn't need to call a timeout there, but because the clock was stopped, so we're wasting one of our timeouts. I just went out there and told them we're scoring on our. I told them we're scoring on this play. I thought we'd score. Brody did an excellent job. Pass protection first was great, and then we got down inside the 5. We didn't score, but we got inside the 5, which actually worked out to our advantage because then we were able to run some clock. We were going to try to go fast initially, but then we thought about it. And we're like, heck, I know we didn't have any timeouts, but still we had plenty of time to get plays in. We were just at a minute or whatever, so we didn't want to rush it and give them time at the end. Obviously, if we'd have gave them 2 more seconds, it may have been different because the clock would have stopped there on that last play. But we kind of screwed up the same kind of deal in the first half because we ran a play with 15 seconds left on the play clock in the first half when we should have ran a play clock all the way down. Went in and talked about that at halftime. So then the same situation occurred in the second half, and we learned from it, and that doesn't typically happen in the same game, but it did. And I thought we did a better job with the clock there at the end of the game.
How much did them jumping off sides prior to the 2-point, how much did that extra yard and a half matter as far as what you were going to do, or did it at all?
Oh, it changed what we were going to do, but we would have scored anyway. So it really didn't affect the outcome because I wasn't expecting them to jump off sides, but once they did jump off sides, then we went to something else we thought we could convert on. Final play of the game, your heart jumps up into your throat. How far when you see the completion and he pulls down and it looks like open field to the end zone? What are your thoughts on that play, and how big a defensive play was it for? I think it was August that got there and was able to haul him down. Well, especially with their best ball in their best player's hands too. He went up. We had a couple guys there. It was like 3 guys went up. 2 of them were us, and their guy came down with it. And after he come down with it, our guys, August was one of them that went up for it. So Karras was back there to try to get him and got him. And then August came back after he had missed it and come back and finished it off. So, we had preached at halftime because the big play that he had on this far sideline in the first half, we had about 3 guys standing around watching. And, we talked about it when we played Potosi, when we played the Walton kid. You can't stand around and watch. You got to have 11 guys go to the ball. We talked about it this week. Number 3 is he's that type of player. And, that turnbow kid's going to make you miss or make the first guys miss a couple times, and you got to have everybody going to it. And luckily, we didn't give up on that play, and it ended up being a great play by those guys. If indeed this tilts things in a district where you may be able to move into that number 1 seed when it's all said and done, what does playing at home mean versus having to travel? Especially this district's so spread out. Travel is a big deal. You go a long way when you travel. Is the potential now to be at home? Is that a big factor? Well, obviously I'm going to say yes because that would be nice. I think we're probably going to have a little help from Bluff tonight. I don't know what the score of the Bluff-Kennett game is, but I think the way I kind of had it figured out, we need Bluff to beat Kennett so that we can get next to Dexter in the standings so that we can jump them, because if we can't get next to them, and we'll also probably have to have Dexter maybe possibly beat Scott City next week. So there's a couple things that are going to have to happen, but we put ourselves in position with the wins against Dexter and Potosi to be in a decent spot no matter what. And, when it comes down to it, we're going to have to play no matter where it's at. So hopefully it's here, but if it's not, we'll give it our best shot wherever it's at. Enjoy the rest of the night. We'll see you again in a week. All right, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Guys, head coach of the Central Rebels with us, Corey Schweiss. They find a way to get it done tonight. A big play late, a 2-point conversion late, and a defensive stop as the time was running out.
The weatherman and the football dad, they're yapping after a fine victory for the Central Rebels. Again, 22-21 in our broadcast game. 2 games for you. Thursday night, North County Sullivan. Friday night, Central Farmington. That comes your way next week right here on Facebook and YouTube. Got some birthdays in you?
Got some birthdays.
All right,
and we're going to start off with our favorite girl.
Yes.
Podcast-wise, I guess I should say.
I'm married. I probably, yeah. Although my wife really likes this lady too.
Teresa Bauman, happy
Yes.
birthday to you. She is just wonderful and awesome. Thank you for all your hard work on the podcast and for being a great person and for having maybe the cutest little granddaughter.
Yeah, no kidding.
My gosh.
Every time I see her, she gets cuter.
Yes, and well, it takes after her mom and her grandma there. Yeah,
Yeah.
Miss Jayla. Happy birthday to you, Teresa. You are wonderful. And I'm glad I've known you for about 30 years. Happy birthday. He was a pizza man for a long time. Now he's a sandwich man. Kurt Hobbs celebrating a birthday. You can go over to Jimmy John's and get a freaky fast sandwich from Kurt and wish him a happy birthday. Happy birthday to another gal who really knows how to cook.
Yeah?
Kim Leftridge.
Oh, my, does she?
Kim Leftridge. Boy, for years she had a great catering service.
Yes.
And boy, she's
beans.
better person than she was a cook, and that's saying something. Happy birthday to Mindy Marks, who used to work at the radio station in our sales department.
My old dance partner back in North County Singers back in the day.
Happy birthday to you, Miss Mindy.
Absolutely.
Chad Doogie, happy birthday to you, buddy. Hope you're doing great. That's from your daughters. Cheryl Weibel celebrating a birthday, 2-time Lutheran of the Year at St. Paul Lutheran Church. And Bean Kurtz, I've watched this kid grow up. She's a graduate of St. Paul High School, and she's either getting married or she just got married. Happy birthday from your mom and dad and from your brother. And I believe that's what I have for birthdays for today.
For today, I have Kelly Koitzer, former or maybe still current on the city council in the city of Farmington. Am I remembering that right? And teacher at Farmington, one of the elementary schools. Kelly celebrating a birthday. Chris Dinkins, now again, former state representative or current state representative?
Current.
Okay, so she still has that position. Chris Dinkins celebrating a birthday on Saturday. Kurt Prather back in the area. Saw Kurt at an event I did a few months ago, and good to see him. He looks old like me. Happy birthday, Kurt. Hope it's a great day. And Kim Wilkinson of Deloge celebrating a birthday on Saturday. Happy birthday, Kim. Hope it's a great day for you. What about Sunday? Who you got?
Sunday, Michelle McBride Tuttle celebrating a birthday. She just got married back when Blues, Brews, and Barbecue weekend.
Oh, that was the wedding.
That was the wedding that I had to go to Blues, Brews, and Barbecue, go to the wedding reception, and then come back to Blues, Brews, and Barbecue, but it was totally worth it. Michelle, you made a beautiful bride. Happy birthday to you from your husband, Randy, and from your kids and all your grandkids, and from Jennifer, Jenny Heimberger, and from me and all your family. Happy birthday also to Leanna Stover. Leanna, married to Greg, and Leanna and Greg help out a lot with the housewarming for Habitat that they do every November. I think she's on the board as well. So, Leanna, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to one of my favorite people in the Farmington School District, Mr. Jason Beffa. Man, this dude is amazing when it comes to technology, and he's also very patient with me, which is great too. That's a great quality to have. And Jason and I have figured out some stuff with BKTV that we're rolling out and getting ready to roll out, and just a great asset to the school district and all things IT. Happy birthday, Jason. Hope you have an awesome day, and hope you had a great vacation. What about Monday, October 20th?
It's all on you, buddy.
Okay, I got John Nichols celebrating birthday on Monday. Happy birthday, John. Hope you're having a great day. And Buck Copeland celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday, Buck. Buck is a big-time supporter of the Parkland podcast, and we appreciate that. How about Tuesday, October 21st? What do you have?
Just one. Sybil Cooper Rohan celebrating a birthday. She worked in our sales department back when she was just a kid. She was 19 or 20 years old, and her and I did a lot of great commercials back in the day. It was really awesome. Loved working with her. So, Sybil, happy birthday to you. I hope you're doing well.
Kayla Botkin, also a big fan of the podcast, celebrating a birthday on Tuesday. Happy birthday, Kayla. Hope it's a great day for you. I'm sorry it hasn't rained very much, so your lawn business hasn't been cutting as much grass. And another friend of the podcast, Robin Winter, celebrating a birthday on Tuesday. Happy birthday, Robin. Hope it's a great day for you. What about Wednesday, October 22nd?
Wednesday just won. My buddy Bobby Wooten celebrating a birthday, or as I like to call him, Bobby Rootin' Tootin' Wooten.
He's never heard that before.
Yeah, the pride of the beautiful Arcadia Valley. Yeah. A golfer. Used to see him over at the gym lifting weights every now and then, and just a super good guy. Bobby, happy birthday to you.
Only one I have is Bill Vilmer celebrating a birthday on Wednesday. Happy birthday, Bill. Hope you have a great day. What about Thursday, October 23rd?
I got several
got some good ones on this day.
Yeah, maybe one of the best athletes to come out of North County High School. And that's saying something.
That is saying something.
Our good friend Stacy Wilfong.
Yes.
Celebrating a birthday. I hope you have a fantastic day. Brandon Hubbard. The man, the myth, the legend, the mayor, the businessman, the pub owner, the dad.
The dad.
The husband now. He's turned out to be a heck of a good guy, Brandon. I just had lunch at his place for Dine Out for the United Way about a week and a half ago. Happy birthday to you. My buddy Don Eaton.
Don Eaton.
Celebrates a birthday. He was one of the first quarterbacks at North County High School.
Really?
I thought he was the first, but Kevin Berry tells me he was actually the second quarterback in the history of the North County football program.
Wow. Did you remember who the first was?
Kevin told me who it was, but I can't remember his name now.
Interesting.
But
anyway, trivia question.
Don worked for the Farmington School District, did crunch the numbers for a bunch of years. You probably didn't get paid until he said you got paid.
Right, yeah.
Just retired about a year and a half ago. So, Don, happy birthday to you from your wife and your boys. Happy birthday wishes also to Jesse Folk. He's got 4 boys, and one's bigger than the other, and Jesse's pretty big, too. So, pride and joy of St. Paul Lutheran Church. Happy birthday to you, Jesse.
Happy birthday to Megan Garrett, celebrating a birthday on Thursday. Hope you have a great day, Megan. And Dan Simile. I don't know if he knew about this, but we all called him Disco Dan for some reason.
Disco Dan.
Yeah, he probably didn't like that. Happy birthday, Dan. Hope you have an awesome day. Hope things are going great for you. Friday, October 24th, wrapping up the week.
Got some great birthdays. We'll start off with Kathy Cramp, the gal who keeps the man, the myth, the legend, David Cramp in line, which is a full-time job. Kathy, happy birthday to you. I hope you are doing fantastic. Janine Seymour celebrates a birthday Friday. She's married to Scott
in line, which is also a tremendous job.
She can try. But Janine's awesome. Happy birthday to you. I hope you're doing good. And happy birthday to one of the biggest, best, lean, mean working out machines that I know, Betty Combs, wife of Dan Combs, Dan the pizza man. Betty will come to the Civic Center around 6 o'clock most every morning and work out till about 8 or 8:30.
Wow.
She'll do an hour on the bicycle. She'll do some time on the elliptical. She'll lift some weights. She'll walk a couple laps. She is just a workout machine. So, Betty, happy birthday to you on Friday. And before you get to yours, I'm going to give her a little bonus action here for Saturday. Mandy Herzog's going to be celebrating a birthday Saturday. We'll get to it next week, but I did want to give her a shout-out.
Birthday preview.
Yes.
You know how old she's going to be?
Younger than me.
Younger than you. Eli Yunt, former student of mine, with a birthday on Friday. Happy birthday, Eli. And Kelly Baker with a birthday Friday as well. Happy birthday to Kelly. Those are your birthdays and anniversaries. Let us know about them. We'll wish you a happy on Facebook, on YouTube, on all the places that we make this podcast available to you. We're on Spotify. We're on Amazon Podcast. We're on Apple Podcast. We're on the TuneIn Radio app. We're on the iHeart Radio app. And there's probably like 7 or 8 more that we're available on. But any place that you get your podcast, we are there. Of course, we're live on Facebook and YouTube every Saturday morning, starting at 8 a.m. And then the download of the audio usually happens some point Sunday. And then you can find those on your platform of choice. You can always go to the Facebook page. That's where we put the links to everything, so you can kind of feed off of there. I guess nothing left to do but music, right? Music. Do you have a song of the week? I will let you talk about that while I frantically search for mine.
Well, I guess I'll go with Love, Rain O'er Me by The Who, because I was listening to it on the way over, and I read some sad news that Roger Daltrey is really not doing well health-wise, and that's my favorite group. And my other choice was, I was at Steaks and Steins last night, and I was talking to Jeremy Horton and his lovely wife, Miss Jessica, and their daughter, Lily, who is expecting a baby, and they're talking about baby names. And the discussion centered around, well, I suggested Marquita once I found out they were going to have a girl. And somebody that was in on the conversation said, did you ever notice that girls tend to look like the names they are given?
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I didn't know that either, but it just like if a girl is... I can't even think of some of the names.
Bertha?
But if it's, well, that's funny you said that.
Bertha.
I said, well, that explains why there aren't too many girls named Bertha. And
right,
then I looked up and I come across a song called the Bertha Butt Boogie by a guy named Jimmy Castor. So that would have been my other choice in honor of the upcoming birth of Lily's birthday. But I'll stick with Love, Rain Over Me.
Yeah, that's a good song. That's a good song. I wanted to do some 90s rock and just kind of in my haste, the song Hard to Handle by the Black Crowes was in my mind. That's actually a cover by Otis Redding, the Sitting on the Dock of the Bay guy.
Yeah.
He did Hard to Handle back in 1968, and the Black Crowes covered it on their 1990 debut album. Do you remember the title of that album with the two crows on it? They look like
I have it. I don't remember the name of it, but I have it.
It's a good title, Shake Your Moneymaker.
Yes.
That was the name of that album. And very good stuff. The Grateful Dead also did a version of Hard to Handle as well. But I really dug on the Black Crowes version, and there's a lot of cool Black Crowes songs. And I remember they had an album called Amorica, which I think was maybe 2 after Shake Your Moneymaker, and that was my favorite Black Crowes album. I don't think there was any hits on that album, but just a lot of cool tunes and everything kind of flowed together. Black Crowes, Hard to Handle. That is my song pick of the week. What do you think about what is our prompts for song this week?
My prompt, and I just came up with it about midweek, and I've got 4 good things to tie along with it. Songs with really hard to impossible lyrics to memorize. And by that, I'm talking about songs like REM, It's the End of the World as We Know It. That part's easy, but when he gets into just singing, he goes really, really, really fast with his lyrics, and I can't keep up with it. Another one is Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire, which has some really fast, where he really goes from one to the other to the other. Maybe the Bohemian Rhapsody is another one, just because it's really out there. Great tune. Been number 1 on the charts more than once. And then probably the poster child for songs with hard to memorize lyrics is the Hank Snow version of I've Been Everywhere.
Oh, right. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah,
There's
blah, blah,
probably, I think there's like 30 different versions of that song from different states and from different countries. Australia has a version of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's different states, all kinds of things.
It's got Foster's in it. Rap God, I was thinking about that from Eminem. I don't know if you ever heard that song by Eminem. It's a really, really, really fast one.
Well, any rap songs are for me to...
It's hard for you to keep track of the lyrics, but that's definitely one. You mentioned We Didn't Start the Fire. And usually I come across one of these websites. Top 10 difficult songs to memorize.
Yes, We
Didn't Start the Fire was number 1. Alphabet Aerobics by Black Alicious.
Don't know it.
Yeah, well, you should. Well, but you won't know it well. And they mentioned The End of the World as We Know It. And you mentioned that too. I thought about, is it Tommy Boy or is it the other movie with David Spade and Chris Farley where they're singing that at karaoke?
It's Tommy Boy. No, they're driving down.
They're driving.
They're driving to Detroit.
Yeah, to sell the
to meet Dan Aykroyd and sell the tires.
Sell the brake pads. Yeah,
brake pads.
And they end of the world as we know it.
And then they just kind of faded out.
So that's perfect. And you mentioned I've Been Everywhere. They give Johnny Cash a chance. Give Peace a chance. Some of the verses in that John Lennon song they recorded from their bed. He goes pretty quick. But it looks like that's the only ones they give on this list. It said 10. That wasn't 10. My math is off. Some other things, other songs that might work. But now it's giving me like techniques on how to memorize songs. But yeah, I think you nailed them. Bohemian Rhapsody, Rap God, Emotions, Unchained Melody. I guess maybe if like some of the words get a little
I'm
weird.
not sure about that one.
But yeah, so there you go. If you have a musical topic for us, feel free to drop it in the comments. We'll talk about it or whatever else you want us to talk about. But we're always open to just about anything here on the Parkland Podcast. Guests for next week, we're not sure.
We're working on that.
We're working on it. I believe we'll have folks that are organizing the St. Joseph Catholic School auction joining us next Saturday, because I don't think they're going to want to join us on the day of the auction. That way they can maybe sell some tickets. And I know we're working. Did Chris Engler not get back? She was commenting at the end of the show last week, and we told her to tell Kevin to be here next week.
I don't think we ever really did that.
We didn't tell her that? Oh, I should have put that in the comments. Chris, if you're watching, tell Kevin to be here next week.
Yeah, we'll call him too.
We won't rely solely on you, but we'll definitely work that out. And we got some other great guests in the future that'll be joining us. And who, what other famous Farmingtonians have we not had on the show yet? Because, I mean, we wanted to get Kyle Richardson and Natalie Sago. They've both been gracious enough to join us. Should we track down the guy that wrote Gang? Well, no, he's dead. The guy that wrote Gangs of New York was from Farmington.
Well, we could,
but
give it a shot.
He is now passed. But do you know any maybe that could be like our Halloween show, and we have a psychic on, and we interview the guy that wrote Gangs of New York. We interview your boy Doobie Long.
I could just do that.
The Murphys. I mean, who else are we? Famous Farmingtonians we want to talk to?
There's a general, a Civil War general that lived in a house right by where Chris Morrison's shelter insurance agent is.
Yeah,
I do know that. And then there's several others that we could come up with.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do that, and we'll continue to bring you interesting interviews with famous people from Farmington. Maybe your cousin or somebody you know has made it big and they're from the Mineral area in some way, shape, or form. Let us know about it. We'd love to talk to them as well. Otherwise, I hope you have a great week. I'm going to go watch a band festival inside the field house, which should be pretty loud. I'm going to leave the hearing aids at home. But let's make sure you're weather aware, as we do again have some thunderstorm activity moving into our area later on this afternoon. Otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in week after week, for downloading the show, and for supporting the Parkland Podcast.
Shout out to my brother Tom, Dave and Mike as well, but my brother Tom especially. Hope you're feeling better, brother.
Get better, buddy. Get better so you can come hang out and do the music segment with Jim. We're going to make that happen, too, one of these times. Excellent. Have a great week. 74 degrees.